IPS stands for Individual Placement and Support. It's a project to support people on the clinical caseloads to gain paid employment and to sustain paid employment.
And the paid employment is of the client's choosing?
Yeah, that's
so it's
really important.
Not just any employment?
It's about the kind of wraparound support. All areas of their life are considered, including their mental health, and that helps them to look for work that's meaningful as part of their recovery and then to keep that work.
So we've helped a variety of different people into a variety of different roles. Some examples of that are caring roles, hospitality,
dental nurse, healthcare assistants, cleaning,
veterinary nurse.
Yeah, all sorts of different roles. And that's the really important thing about IPS, is it's very much led by the client and what they want to do.
Do you think that you would have been happy going about finding work on your own?
No, I wouldn't have done it by myself, because it's also my self-esteem and worried about rejection with jobs. So having the support around me is kind of giving me a push.
How are you feeling now going forward? How has it helped you so far in the short time that you've been with us?
The positive kind of vibe that comes across from you personally.
Thank you.
You know, and when you say, you can do this, we'll help you do your CV and everything you can fully support me with, and it makes me feel my mental health is a bit better because I'm improving my life. Expectations, honestly, wasn't very high because I've been let down by the system for a long time. So I just thought I was just going to get forced sort of back to work. I didn't think there would be a full-on support where I could just phone you any time if I'm at work or anything like that. I didn't think it would actually build your life back up.
And did you feel that you were joining in and that we were having a partnership to help move you forward?
Yes, what I took from it was that you wanted me to improve my life as well as I wanted to, really, and just giving me the encouragement for me to want to do it.
IPS is for anybody on a clinical caseload who wants to gain paid employment. Employment is very much part of somebody's recovery, so at any stage of their ill health they can access the IPS service if they say they want to work.
The majority of those people need to be unemployed though, don't they?
They do, yeah.
We can work with a few people who are in work, but actually it's only a very small percentage of the caseload.
I think building up my confidence has been the most useful part of the support, as I've struggled with this previously and found looking for work anxiety provoking.
Thinking about work makes me feel a bit more hopeful.
I just wanted to know about how you were referred to the IPS service. How did that happen?
I was referred by the mental health team in the NHS. I was sort of looking for new employment and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and I was starting to become a little bit anxious about the process of applying for jobs, having had the mental health problems in the past. And I found that very useful to discuss what my needs were with employment and to make me feel less anxious about the process.
So far then, would you say that the IPS has been a positive for you in your role in helping to get more work?
Yes, and with the IPS has also given me ideas for possible employers that I hadn't thought of beforehand.
And how are you feeling about the future?
Well, I'm pleased to have the opportunity to visit this company. I'm sort of optimistic that whether or not it leads directly to work, it might sort of give me more ideas about what I could do.
It's all about the client's aspirations, isn't it?
It's finding out not only what job they're interested in, but their hobbies,
Yeah.
what they enjoy doing, because they don't know what job they want to do. So I go down the line of what do you enjoy doing. So I think, well, how can you incorporate the hobby and their interest into a job?
Yeah.
And so many clients, they don't think like that. They're just thinking supermarket,
Yeah.
sitting in an office. That's where we also do employer engagement. We will then go and talk to employers in the community, big employers like the supermarket chains. A lot of the time we will talk to the employer on behalf of the client. So we need to know what the client is like, what they like, to talk on their behalf to a potential employer.
It's transformational, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is, because that knocks on to all sorts of things, from just being in the community again with their routines.
One of the first ladies I worked with, she'd totally lost or self-confidence, self-esteem. She wouldn't go out. And then she got a job in care, and she was just so over the moon because she had a social life back. She was socialising with her colleagues, and as she said to me, 8 months beforehand, that's something she never even dreamed of doing.
As an occupational therapist, I can support people with any physical, sensory or cognitive problem by looking at their whole needs, which means their emotional, social, physical need within any environment which they're in. So I guess with occupational therapy in community mental health teams, we aim to explore a person's hopes and dreams and looking at bringing meaning and purpose to their everyday occupation, but really around how to occupy their time by increasing their independence and bringing them a sense of identity.
And we talked, didn't we, a little bit recently about how occupational therapists, we view people or the person that we're working with as having an innate desire to be occupied and to be doing. And so we're really kind of doing therapists, aren't we, where we look at sort of the person having that need to be occupied in something that's meaningful. And I think that leads us on to think about work, because work could be something in that person's life that's really meaningful to them. And that leads us on to thinking about how that person might be able to function at work.
As well as employment specialists on the IPS service, we also have peer mentors who have lived experience of mental ill health and experience of gaining paid employment. So it was like a partnership, wasn't it? So there was the peer mentor and the employment specialist and the client. So all three of you kind of working together with the goal of working towards that client's aspirations and goals and things. So was it more practical kind of support that you...
Yeah, a little bit. So I did a lot of CVs and cover letters, but I also did a lot of confidence building and stress and anxiety management, that kind of thing. So it wasn't all practical, it was also kind of holistic and stuff as well.
What bit did you enjoy the most?
I think probably doing like the going through the different workbooks with the clients, because you get to know them a bit more and they can kind of identify things about themselves and they can go, oh, I do this, so I can move on and like use this tool. And also going through it, you kind of notice that in yourself as well, so that was really good, helping them, but also kind of partly helping yourself.
So how do you feel your employment specialist in the IPS service has helped you?
Definitely provided support, but also lots of invaluable specialist knowledge about benefits and income and childcare, and then giving me a boost really and making me feel that I've got something to offer.
How has your life changed since working with the IPS service?
There's a lot more structure and routine now, and I feel a lot more positive generally. I feel like I know where I'm going now in my future. It's obviously changed because I've got a job and something to look forward to, but it's just boosted my self-confidence generally and made me feel that I know what I'm working towards and got me out of the mindset of feeling unwell as well.
And how do you feel about the future now?
Really, really positive about the future, looking forward to it and excited to start my new job and find out where that takes me.
We're really well supported by the clinical teams. A really important part of IPS is that the whole team, the IPS team's embedded within those clinical teams, and the employment specialists and the peer mentors sit alongside those colleagues and work together closely so the client gets the best result possible. Can you tell me the 8 key principles of the IPS service?
It aims to get people into competitive paid employment. It's open to anyone on the clinical caseload who wants to work. It finds jobs consistent with people's preferences. It works quickly, it's a quick approach, an intensive approach. It brings employment specialists into clinical teams. Employment specialists develop relationships with employers based on a person's work preference, so it's all about client choice. It It provides ongoing individualised support for the person and their employer, and it offers benefits counselling.
The board is wholly supportive of the IPS work. We think it's a fabulous project. We know how important work can be to facilitate people's recovery in mental health. And what this programme does is it works with people in an individual way and helps support them into work, but also helps support them when they're in work. So for us as a board, the reason that we're so behind this work is we know that not being in work is part of the inequalities that we need to tackle as a board. We've seen, particularly through COVID, that if we're to be serious about improving people's mental health, we also need to understand the social determinants of ill health, and that means paying attention to people's accommodation, looking at education, but also critically looking to employment. So this project, which is an important project highlighted in the long-term NHS plan as well, for us is a wonderful way of being able to help our clients who we're seeing through the CMHTs and to really facilitate their recovery.